All right, we're starting a new unit about exponents. We've worked with these a little bit, but we need to have a better understanding of what exponents are and how they work. Mostly this unit, we're going to be focusing on multiplying, dividing, and using exponents on exponents. So before we get to all that, I just want to talk about the basics and what they mean. So exponents are when you have a little number, okay? It's up and to the right of what you're talking about. So you could have something like this, 2 to the power of 3, that would be the exponent right there. Or you can have like letters, variables with exponents on them, so the 3 would be the exponent. That's what we're talking about when we talk about exponents, that little number, okay? The basic idea, let's say how to say them first. So in this case, if we have an x with the little exponent 2 on it at the top, this is x to the power of 2, or x to the 2, or x squared. Obviously, it's only called squared because it's a 2. 3 is cubed. After 4, 5, 6, they don't really have words for that. You just say x to, so this would be like x to the 5, x to the 77, whatever it is, okay? So now that we know how to say it, let's try and understand what it means. If I wrote something like this, this means just I have x, okay? I have like a mystery amount, whatever x is. If I have this, it means that I have 2 x's. So if this was like a bag and I don't know how many is in it, this would mean I have 2 bags. Okay? The exponent version, like x squared here, x to the power of 2, does not mean that we have 2. Okay? What it actually means is x multiplied by itself this many times. So in this case, it would actually be like x times x. So if we had another example where, I don't know, let's say x to the power of 5, okay? That would mean x times itself 5 times. X times x times x times x times x. Let's look at it with numbers just to make it a little easier to see. So if I had like 4 to the power of 2, that would be the same as 4 times 4. Or if I had 4 to the power of 5, that would be 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, because there's 5 of them to match that exponent 5, okay? That's what exponents mean. It means that we're multiplying, so they're getting a lot bigger, a lot faster. Very careful not to mix up when you have a coefficient, which means like 2 times, and when you have an exponent, which means like times itself, okay? That's the core lesson here to understand. The other thing I want to point out is with negatives. Let's do an example here first. If I had negative 2 squared, that would be the same as negative 2 times negative 2. Remember, when you multiply negative times negative, it cancels out. This actually becomes positive 4, even though it's negative to start. However, if you have a question that looks like this, it's actually an evil question. It's written kind of weird. Basically, what this means, this is the same as this first part is like negative 1, and this second part is multiplied by 2 squared. So really what we get is negative 1 times 4, 2 times 2 is 4, which gives us negative 4. So just be careful when you have questions where there's a negative sign. Just ask yourself, is the exponent only applied to this, or is it applied to everything? So when there's a bracket, it applies to the negative symbol. When there's no bracket, it just applies to that number. So we'll do one more example of that just so we can see it. Let's do variables. Okay. This one is going to stay negative because there's a negative sign outside. It doesn't matter. This one, when I do the exponent, it actually becomes positive and it just becomes x to the 4. Right? That's the basics. But again, the most important thing is this, just understanding that like the exponent means multiplied by itself that many times.